Hello, can you guys hear me? Let's go to the apartment. Hey, how are you guys doing? It's been a while, right? Man, I have so many deadlines on top that I feel a bit ashamed that I wasn't able to stream as soon as I wanted. By the way, how's the audio? The other day, you guys told me that the volume was kind of low, so I hope it's a bit better now. It's like 10% higher. Nice. Yeah, I've been trying to fix some of the stuff from the previous streams. Speaking of audio, some other people told me that you guys feel like some kind of static coming from my mic, and I also hear it. And I noticed that it is actually something super weird. It seems it is the magnetic field from my pen display that's causing that kind of static. I asked my brother, and he told me that maybe if I make some kind of contact with a cable or something, I might be able to fix it. But I don't know. How about that? I'll try to keep it minimum, but I haven't been able to fix the cracking problem yet. As I said, it seems to be a bit more complex than I thought at first. Even though I have the denoiser at maximum, but we'll see. As long as it is not terrible, I think it works. Oh, we have a good number of people already. Um, Scott is asking, what animation program do you use? I use TV Paint, TV Paint 11, which is like the second most popular one, and I used it simply because that's the first one I learned. So I just don't use CSP because I'm already fast. Okay, so today we were supposed to finish all of the animation critiques because this time they were a lot uh, from September. Man, from September, it's almost December, but I don't know if we will be able to do them all, to be honest, because I have 8 left. Last time we did like 4, so now we have 8. So what I'll do, I'll go, uh, I'll go randomly, and we will see how much we can do in around 2 hours. Okay. Also because I'm an idiot, I didn't notice that my iPhone was almost without battery. And if you have tried to beat VTubing, sometimes you will know that uh, the model eats all of the battery from the iPhone. So I don't know how much my battery will last. So I'll do my best to be quick. Okay. Okay. Let's change to TV Paint then. Man, I said I was going to do a like a small sign for people who ask me about the software and stuff. I didn't do it. Oh, for some reason TV Paint is not visible, right? Oh, I know what's happening. Give me a second. Um, let's go back to the apartment. Oh, this is very stupid. Last week, I I updated TV Paint, and it now it's like 11.0 one something, and it's not the same software as before. So I have to relink it um, to the stream software. So give me a second. Bear with the black thing for a moment. I'll add it. I didn't think about it before. Whoops, that's terrible. Oh, that looks terrible. Come on, let me get the... Here. Please. And that didn't work. Okay. Next try. Come on, T-Paint. Okay, in the meantime, so you don't get bored, you can make me questions. Don't worry, I'll solve it at some point. Here it is. Nice. Nice, I did it. Yeah, I don't know. The stream software sometimes has problems catching TV Paint. I don't know why, but it's solved now. Okay, let me read some of the comments. Currently learning Krita. I think Krita will be eventually a very good software for animation, because now that they're like experimenting with it, and they are focusing on Japanese animation. So that looks nice. I saw you guys at KumoriCon. Was it last year or now? I didn't go to KumoriCon this year, but I went last year. It was super fun. I wish I went this year too. Maybe next one. Might want to have it attached to a power bank. Yeah, I should have, but I wasn't smart enough. Okay, let's go to the critics. I'm going to pick them randomly because I have a ton of them. Okay. Got one more. +2. This is from Parrot, I think. That's the name of the animator. Let's load it. And timesheets. It's gonna take a bit. Maybe we should make a stream specific for software, because a lot of people ask that. It's like a question they always have at the beginning, like which software should you use. I cannot teach you how to use every software, but I can teach you what every software is better at. That would be good. You guys let me know you would like that. Uh, Centron is asking, which part of animation do you find most boring? Boring. I don't know if there's a part of animation I find most boring. Like, I don't think animation is boring. Um, hmm. Though I feel very bored sometimes. You know what I don't like about animation? Uh, or maybe this type of animation? I really don't like uh, being in front of the computer. I think that's the part I don't like the most. If I could just do it everything on paper, or I don't know, maybe I would do it. It's not practical for me at the moment, but I don't really like being in front of the computer for so long. Sometimes I have to be like several hours, and I don't really like looking at the screen. So I don't know if that counts as an answer for your question, but I would say is that uh, I don't even think like making timesheets is boring either. Uh, I actually like it because it's easy. Yeah, making timesheets is actually easy. Uh, I'll teach you to do them in some stream. Okay, let's play it a couple of times, and then we take a deeper look. So it's two cuts. Can you guys see all right? Um, Maybe I should do it a bit bigger for you guys to see. Bum, bum, bum. Whoops. Looks like I can make it a bit bigger. Maybe if we did a camera. Here's one thing that uh, you should always do when you eventually work for Japan or something. When you send them the video preview of your work, you have to send it with a camera. You don't have to send the whole template. So let's make a quick camera, and that could also help you. Music is a bit too noisy. Something like that. You see? That looks way better. Even though some of the notations ended up being outside of the camera, which is something we should fix eventually. But okay. Whoops. What's that mean? Okay. Let's look at the first cut and see what's happening. So we have character, which is supposed to be A, and B, which is supposed to be the cover, like bed sheets. Oh, it has sound. Let me mute the sound. Sorry, I can't play the sound of your videos, but I already have a mess with my sound, so it might mess it up even worse. So this is a complicated cell interaction or layer interaction, because the cover is over her feet or foot, foot, and then she takes it off, but her hand is sometimes under it. So yeah, it is a bit complicated. think it's still working, but maybe there's an easier way to do it. Let's see the timesheet for a bit. Okay. Is this good one? Yes. B2 on 4. Oh, I'm starting from. There it is. I was starting from frame 0. Software sometimes do that. Now it's starting from frame 1. Okay, so it changes on 4. But that's an in-between. It's an in-between guide. What do I mean by in-between guide? It's like an in-between with a reference, or like with a hint or of something you have to draw on it. In this case, is the hand and the foot. That's an in-between guide. But in-between guides have to have a name. You can't just do like the slash thingy you do for in-betweens, like here. Oh, am I showing it? Yeah. It has to have a name, like for example, a number, like this would be 2 or 3, something like that. Or if you don't want to rename all of the thing, you already did it, and you just want to correct it, you can do 1.1, 1.2, because it comes from one, right? And then this could be 2.1, 2.2, and this is just an in-between, right? Oh, by the way, this is something that I was tell people when doing timesheets for the first time. You don't need to do this line all the time when you're holding frames. You only need to do these lines when you're holding frames for more than 4 frames. Because let's say 1 and 2, this frame is held for 3 frames. That's normal. Like the character or the layer is still moving. If I hold it for 4 frames, like this, it is barely moving. It's already looking choppy, but you could still say it's moving, at least for anime standards. But if you hold it for 5, whoops, for 5, then this drawing looks like it stopped moving. So now you have to do the line. Otherwise, whoever is reading your timesheet later could think that you forgot to put something here, like something like this or something like this. So to tell them that you're actually holding it so that the drawing looks still, you do the line. Okay, but only when it is held for more than 4 frames. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, 4 is the limit. Now here you don't need anything. Here you don't need anything either. But here you have to do the line. Okay, that was timesheet tangent. Let's go back to see this layer structure. I think it could be working. It looks complicated, but if she keeps no, it's actually not working. Look, here's a discrepancy. She's A. Also, she's under this whole sheet layer, so it means she's also under this. So the sheet is actually blocking this part of her. We don't see that. It's not only like blocking this part, which is what we would like. So what I would do maybe um, would be to do the girl and the sheet. There are several ways to do this. My first instinct would be to do them like the girl and the sheet in the same layer, and when she separates, you can either turn her into a new layer or just keep it in the same layer and leave this as a doga trace, which means that this part of the layer will keep moving the character, and this part will be just held when because nothing is happening here. So that would be maybe an easier way to do it, because now, even though it looked okay, it's not really working because the layer is not working on the right way. Okay, let's look at the rest of the animation. Oh, I feel the cut is a bit short, like in duration. Like my brain was expecting her to walk like just a few more steps. What do you guys think? Like, she goes there and it cuts like kind of suddenly. Maybe that would be something to consider. When you're doing work for a studio, they generally give you the duration, so sometimes you don't really have too much say in the duration of the cut. But if you're doing it yourself, like, you could try to think about it. I see in between, no, spacing charts. This look okay, but remember this had to have a name, like whatever it is, 2.1, 2.2, or just a normal number. I see it has the arrow, but it's not very visible. If you're going to do it like that, maybe do something like this. That's way more visible, because here, like, it's barely visible. But it's very good that it has middles. Again, this have to be named, and this one is not very clear. Let's try to interpret it. There's a middle with an in-between guide with whatever number. There's another middle here with another in-between guide, but this one is almost here at the border. I would say there's a middle here, like a fake middle, and then this one, like this. So it would be good that you show me this, even if there's nothing here. Like, just do this pointed line so I know that this is in the middle of this. I'm talking to you from the in-betweener point of view. Like, it's actually kind of a pain when the the charts are not clear. And it also, like, affects you, not only the in-betweener. It affects you because the in-betweener might not interpret the chart the way you want, so your animation might not look how you want it. Okay, I also see a book here, like an extra layer. I haven't looked at the folders, but I don't see any reason for having a book here, because everything seems to be just in one layer. Like, I don't see any movement here, like anything that requires a separation. So I would say, like, just erase this and let it be part of the background. Okay. Okay, next cut. So she comes from the right. Oh, I have to change this one too. 31. Okay, I think I understand what's happening. maybe that's one of the things that is not boring, but sometimes it is kind of tiring, is figuring out weird layer structures. That's a bit tiring sometimes. Like it takes a lot of time when cuts are complex. And it also takes a lot of time to learn to do. Like in the beginning is sometimes hard to understand. So T enters, I would assume, maybe I can erase this part or just copy it. I'll try an experiment. Copy. Whoops. No. Copy. New layer. I just want to see if the frame count is all right. So I separated the two cuts. So she enters on 31. Yeah, it's all right. Here, you see. Now, what was confusing me a bit is that if the character is not visible here, it should have an X here to tell me that we are not seeing the character. You cannot begin from just the line if it's the beginning of your timesheet. Like for example, if this was just one cut with 2 pages, you can begin the second page with a line because it's coming from the previous page. But if you're beginning and your layer is not visible, you do an X. Also, this is kind of a tip. When something enters the screen from one of the sides or from the top or bottom, you have to write in. This is both in Western and in anime. Just write in, and when something gets out of the frame, you have to write out. Okay, that's something that has never changed from Western to Eastern animation. They do it the same way. Okay, one thing I noticed here is that she doesn't have a chair to sit on. So you could have just you could do it several ways. If you don't want to work too much on it, you can do it as part of the background. Like just do a share here and part of the background, but the share will not move when she sits. If you want it to move and kind of make it more complex, you can do a cell, like just do a cell under it, and I don't know. I think it would be A1. And when she sits, when she contacts the layer, you can move the chair slightly, so it looks like she's actually sitting. But I don't know. I just noticed it wasn't there. Also, I noticed there's two books. There's this one, book two, which I think is actually books, and book one. I'm not sure what it is. Uh, Maybe I would think it is this one, like this thing here, but it's actually pointing to this. Maybe this is the door or something, but the door could be part of the background. So it doesn't really make sense if that's the book. Uh, so what I would do, just leave the door as the background, and this can be all just one book. Uh, the lamp and the books can be just one book one. And if you do that, you have to show it here. If they're in front of A, You do it here. Book 1. Okay. Some people do it on the, like, they try to borrow a cell to do it, but you cannot do that. You have to do it in the middle of the cells, like here, because they are not actually cells. They're part of the background process. Okay, let's go a bit more quickly to see the animation. 1, 2. There's in betweens there. I don't know what this in between means with a circle. It's kind of weird because you have circles and triangles, and I don't really know what they mean. Mm. Yeah, not really sure what those mean. Let's just see the movement of the character. From A3 to A4. Let's see how much time do we have there. Yeah, I think we have enough in betweens to do that movement. It's like 3. And we have some in between guides. Her sitting position is a bit weird. Maybe because she has a bit of weird proportions. Like, this looks so big that it looks like it's part of her shoulders. Maybe if we just fix the drawing a bit, she'll look more natural. She looks like a kind of a. She looks like a doll, like a bit lifeless because her. Have you noticed when you have like a rag doll and you try to make her sit on some place and they just don't sit. They kind of just bend. Uh, I think that's kind of what I'm seeing here. Like, she doesn't really look like she's sitting. Maybe because you don't really sit with your arms like in this direction. You either put your hands on top of the desk or on your lap or something like that. Maybe that's the thing. Oh, I destroyed the whole drawing. I didn't make any layer. Also, well, the drawing is a bit rough. Maybe it's just the shading that is a bit rough. So I wouldn't say it's enough to do it to send it as layered yet. But that could be easily fixed. Maybe it's just the coloring, like this green for her hair. I know it's used a lot, but maybe it's a bit too bright, so it doesn't really look like a shadow. It kind of warps the perception of depth. Let me take a quick look at the comments. Four more steps would have been nicer. Yeah, maybe just a couple, just two more steps. Yeah, I'm back. No, you didn't miss me. I mean, yeah, I'm not lost. I'll keep doing this stuff. So don't worry. Um, Actually, maybe I should say it now, or I'll remind you at the end. But next stream is Saturday, so the day after tomorrow, and I'm going to be talking about basic drawing for animation. So let's finish this. I think that's all I had to say about it. The animation looks okay. There's just some problems with uh, layer structure. So yeah, that's not very easy to learn at the beginning. You just have to experiment, and I'll also try to teach you during the next few streams when we talk about layout, specifically about layout. I'll try to teach you very well about layer structure. But it looks okay. Try to name your in between guides, so you don't have to do like these triangles with slashes inside, which are not really part of the format. And when you close your timesheet, when you cut it like this, try to make it a bit bigger, like this, so it's more noticeable. Like I can see it from like afar, and I know the duration of the cut. Okay, yeah, that's pretty much with this one. Let's close this one. Close and close. Maybe I should talk about the next streams at the end. I'll try to make it quick. Okay, let's go to the next one. Have a ton of folders. Okay, while that charges, I'll read your comments. Okay, someone's saying thoughts on doing animation reel slash portfolio. It would be great to have to do some full produced animation, or just Sakuga is okay. And also, what is Sakuga exactly? Okay, um, my thoughts about portfolio, and I'm going to talk just about uh, Japanese animation. Okay, just working for Japan. Uh, Nowadays, it is way easier to get attention from anime producers. So it's easier than before when I began. It took me like a year to get hired, and I tried a lot of stuff. And the thing that works the best is to do simple animations, but showing that you know how to work on the Japanese format. Like, for example, something like we're watching now, like all of this videos we're watching for critiques, like in Genga format with all the numbering and even the timesheet. You can post the timesheet too if you want, just so you can show the producer that you know what you're doing and you're not going to cause trouble, basically. Because that's the thing that worries producers the most, is that uh, foreign animators might not know how to actually do the job. They might be good animators, they might know how to move characters and stuff, but when it comes to format, a lot of people don't know how to do it. So if you show them you can, and you can animate and you can work on their format, they will be happy to get you on board. Uh, I generally advise against doing like very complex action cuts or very like Sakuga stuff. We'll talk about Sakuga in a bit, but um, I advise against doing that because that generally gets production people scared. How is that? 99% of the cuts you'll have to do for anime are very simple cuts, like characters walking or characters just talking, stuff like that. And the thing that happens sometimes is that people who are very specialized on action on characters jumping and fighting and doing stuff, they are not really good at doing simple cuts. Like, their simple cuts look very weird. They have a ton of drawings and they actually cause some trouble in production. So yeah, when producers see your Twitter profile and they see only Sakuga stuff, they generally get scared and they hesitate to contact you. But if you show them simpler stuff and in the format they need, your opportunities grow a ton. That's my experience with getting jobs for anime. And that's basically for the beginning, like the first year you work, like you have to do that. Then they'll get to know you and you'll have a bit of a reputation if everything goes all right, and they won't ask you to do a lot of stuff. When it comes to real, like animation reels, that's mainly used in the West. Like you send a studio your animation reel and stuff, and you do this kind of video with your best cuts, and you put some music and stuff. The Japanese don't really use that. uh, I've worked on dozens and dozens of anime, and I think I've been asked for a reel twice. uh, Generally when it is some like very important cut or sequence and they want to show the director uh, my work, they will ask for a reel. And it's always a pain because they ask me a reel like once a year, so I don't really have a reel, so I have to do one at the moment to show them. But yeah, Japanese industry doesn't really use reels, so just post good stuff on your Twitter, and that should be enough. They can still, obviously they can still ask you for a reel. Some producer might ask you for a reel, but it is very uncommon. The other thing they might ask you eventually, if they know you have a bit of experience, like this is not the first anime you have worked on, they might ask you to send them a folder with your layouts, like with your work exported, with all of the images and the timesheet and all of the stuff. Like you send it to the previous studio, they might ask you like, "Hey, can you make a folder on Google Drive or something and show me your layouts?" They might ask you for that. That's actually pretty common, but that's when they know you have been working on anime for a bit. Okay. Oh, and the last question: what is Sakuga? Uh, Sakuga is actually a Western term. Like the Sakuga we know in the West is not actually used in Japan. Sakuga means something like rough drawing, or um, like sketch or something like that in Japanese. But in the West, we know Sakuga as like very crazy action sequences or very complex animations. But that's just a Western thing, a Western term. Um, the Japanese, if you talk to the Japanese about Sakuga, they will not understand. Okay. Uh, oh, it's Parrot, the person who animated the previous cuts. It was a good cut, Parrot. It's actually easy to fix all of the things I told you. So keep going. Um, I would like to know more about the Japanese animation format. Yeah, we will talk about that in the next few streams. I'll try to teach you all of that. Uh, Someone saying that's actually hilarious. Oh my god, this dude is sick with a pencil. This guy is dangerous. Let's not bother him. Yeah. Yeah, it actually happens. Um, they just want to know that you will be useful for most cases. Uh, that's basically it. Because If you are only good for doing action stuff, they will only need to call you for a few episodes, and you might not even be able to do a timesheet or something like that. Because that's why you have to show them that you can. Tom is asking, do you think sending DMs to producers is fine or is a bit inappropriate? Do not do it. Uh, Let me explain. Uh, when I was trying to get a job at anime at first, like several years ago, I tried everything. And one of those was sending DMs to producers. And eventually I noticed that they don't really like it. Uh, if producers need you, they will find you. Uh, and now, as I said, like now it's way easier than when I was trying. But producers have so much to do every day. They receive so many messages and so many stuff from everywhere that receiving a message from an animator they don't know, like just sending this stuff, is generally not very welcomed. So I would advise against contacting producers unless you have something like a contact with them already. Like I've messaged producers when I want to work on a specific anime, for example, but I already had some friend or something like that telling that producer that I was going to contact him. Um, I just don't message producers out of the loop. They don't like it. And generally when you do that, they don't want to talk to you again. That's just how it is. Uh, Now, some other people, some other animators will tell you that they have received jobs after messaging producers, and that might be true, but I assure you that it's the least probable scenario. Like, it's probably just luck if you message a producer and they message you back or something. They generally sometimes they'll just tell you, no, thank you, but we will tell you if we need something, and they never contact you again. So just keep posting stuff on your Twitter and be smart um with your tags. Like tag your stuff like animation, Japanese animation, and use the tag of the anime you're maybe trying um to imitate or something. If you do a cut like from some anime or some franchise, just be smart with that. uh Someone's asking, better apply with LinkedIn? No. uh Japanese animation, I don't think they use LinkedIn. They just use Twitter. Twitter is the professional uh, contact platform for anime. It's 99% Twitter, and uh, sometimes they will send you an email, but that's just sometimes. Okay, I'll be back to the cuts. You see, if not, that there will be very hard to it will be very hard to finish. Oh, this person knows I like anime. So get serious. Okay, I'm not really sure what's happening here. Let me bring the timesheet. What I mean is, I'm not really sure I'm understanding the cut. Let's see it again. Okay, so we have a kind of like a tablet or something that one character is holding, and then we have the other character inside of the, like, on the screen, right? That already is kind of a challenge. Uh, when you have screens like cell phone screens or stuff like that on anime, you generally do something that's called a harikomi, which is basically just pasting either an image or a video on top of the surface. Let me explain you. So let's say we have a cell phone or a tablet or something like that. Well, and you want to put whatever here on it. Maybe it is just graphics or a character or something like that. That generally is done separately, either on another layer or it's done later by the comp team, by the compositing team on After Effects or something like that. Generally, when you have something like that, you do a Harikomi notation, which is basically a square like this, and then you have to signal the middle of the square like this. You can do it like this, or you can do it like this. Like a window. The one I use is this one because it's way more exact. Like if you do this, you found the exact center of the shape. So this is what I do. And then you have to write. You can write in Japanese or something like what's exactly happening here. Sometimes the director will tell you, but you can always say like character inside the screen, or maybe if this was the case, for example, for this character, I would assume there is a background here, something, another background apart from this one, because here you have a background already. Here you have a background, or you should. And here you have another background. So you need two backgrounds. So what might happen, the producer might ask you to do an extra cut, like all of what's inside the screen might be another cut, and then they will take that cut, like that extra layout, and they will merge it with this one, so they can do the screen thing. Or maybe if it's more simple, it could be just an extra layer. Like let's say this is A. A, and the whole content of the screen might be B. Something like that. Generally, when there's something like this, they will tell you what to do. Sometimes even it comes in the sete, like in the model sheets, when they show you like the how to draw the cell phone, for example, they will just tell you to write the harikomi thing. How do you write harikomi in Japanese? Let me. I think it's like this. The ko me. How was it me? I don't remember. I haven't looked at my Japanese things in a lot of time. But you just write it in Japanese, and that's enough. Let me look at the comments for a bit. Someone saying, I think I saw someone saying that in YouTube video, and I just thought it might be annoying to them. Yeah, it's actually annoying. A lot of people post works there, completed and rough, and eventually get contacted by producers. Yeah, it's very common. Oh, there is harikomi. I was confused between the katakana and the hiragana, so it's like this. like this, and they will totally know that they have to put the screen there, or whatever it is that they generally do it on After Effects. But okay, let's forget about that for a minute and look at the animation. So she's A, supposedly. Whoops. And it's animated on twos and threes. One, two. It's in between on middles. When you have like a spacing chart like this, you can do it uh, vertical. Like instead of doing the spacing chart horizontal and the arrow, just do the spacing chart vertically like this. Otherwise, it will be kind of confusing. Why is the spacing chart and when there's an arrow pointing somewhere else? That's a bit confusing. It's kind of a lewd cut. But I think it's okay. I think it's working. Remember to have your middles here. And I'm noticing this character here is sliding. It's not like really animated. It's just sliding, which is okay. Like it's something that's used for comedic purposes. But I don't see any notation for that slide. I see the hands moving and I think they are B. So B, this one. And I see that like the hands trembling. Sadly, you uh, obstructed the number there with this head. Which is not very good. It should be visible. And for that slide, you should have a notation here. Like, I don't know, I think this might be C, maybe. So you'll have to come here at the memo and say like C so C layer or something like that. SL A to B, or it could, I think you could do it from A to B if you did if you wanted to do it simple, you could do it from A to B and maybe do a chart like this. But in that case, the timing of this would be decided by the people at comp. So what you might have to do is actually do a chart for which each one of the frames, which is a pain. Like I don't know, this frame 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's not ambiguous at all where the character is at in any of those frames. It's a pain. It's really a pain. We might talk a bit about that on the layout on the layout stream because those notations are a bit of a handful. Let me take a bit of water. Someone saying I really want to learn how to do animation like the Japanese industry, but everything I see is either money gated or you have to go to a Japanese school. Yeah, not anymore really. Um, Apart from this streams that I will do, which should be able to teach you a pretty good basis. Um, there, I think there's already good um, a good amount of resources where you can learn. There's books and there's some other animation videos online. Let me bring my notations. Um, yeah. So yeah, this is what I wanted to see. I forgot how to write Seru because I got confused. Seru instead of layer or cell. Maybe you can write cell, but this is the right one. SL A to B or the other more complex notation, which you have to later do here. Like it's really a pain to do, but you might have to. I'll show you in some other stream. Okay. Uh, Let me play it one more time. I think the animation is working. It looks solid at least. Maybe that hand is changing a bit too much on this hand. A bit too much on volume. Take a look. It's not a lot, but I don't know. What is changing a bit of on volume is the head. Look, here's a very big head. I mean, like a normal size head, but eventually it becomes smaller. Like here. And I know that she's like looking down here, so her face compresses a bit, but it actually changes. Uh, it changes the size, and her ear is a bit weird too. Also, this is a bit nitpicky, but this character is holding this tablet or cell phone in a very weird way. Like this one is normal, but this one, like no one holds the tablet like this. Like this finger should be here behind. Um, and everything else looks okay. I would like to have a background though. Uh, Whatever it is, even if it's just a flat color, you can just write a flat color here. But you have to let me know what's in the background. Same here. Uh, Either if it's on another cut or another layer, it might be a book or something like that. You have to let me know what's happening here, or otherwise the people in the production will not know what to do. The director might have to correct this, and it will be a pain for everyone. Okay, shall we go to the next one? Sorry, I'm getting a bit faster on this, but I think I've been talking too much. Okay, Arikomi. All of this layering stuff will come on the layout stream. I'll remember. I'll talk to you about that at the end of the stream. This one. use this one. Any questions for the moment? Let's see what you guys have written. Oh, there's not much more. The studio trigger uses sliding a lot. I saw it on Party's Talking and Kill la Kill. Yeah, they do. um, the studio trigger has been experimenting with trying to mix anime and cartoon for a lot of years. A lot of years. I think their best, when they actually nailed it, was in Yushu Patrol Luluko. Do you guys remember that anime? I think it was a YouTube anime, but the animation was brilliant, and I think they never got better than that. That's my personal opinion. I really like that, how that anime was handled. Sadly, I wasn't working on anime at the time, so I couldn't participate. Okay, timesheet. Wow, this timesheet was cut with fury. It's okay. Let's play the video a bit. So it's 3 cuts. 3. It's actually kind of a complex cut. Like there's, I like this perspective from above. I think it's working pretty well, and it even has the some details, some cool details like she uh, grabbing the handle and rotating it. That's actually pretty cool. I think it would totally work as a layout if she was shadowed. Like if she had the shadows and highlight, I think it would just be okay for a layout. But let's look at the animation a bit more carefully. And the timesheet. So first thing I notice is that she has these layers on top of her. She has all of this on top of her, right? This. But I don't see where that is here on the timesheet. And it's not notated there either. So I'm trying to understand the layering structure here. She's A, I guess. And her eyes seem to be B. And the egg seems to be C, if I'm understanding all right. All of this should be a book, like an extra layer of background, and that should be here, I guess, on top of all of the other cells. Maybe if you wanted to make it a bit more natural, the pan could be also a cell, because if you have all of this stuff, they're on different levels um, um, of like perspective. Like this is a lot more in the foreground than the pan, for example. If this is all just one book, like part of the background, it might look unnatural. So I might do this as a layer 2, like D, for example. D1, and just leave it there doing nothing. That's all me. That's probably what I would do. Okay. This is animated on twos. What do I mean by that? Like every frame lasts for two. Every drawing lasts for 2 frames. And honestly, that's a bit too much for anime. Unless this was like a very special cut that they uh, especially requested from you, uh, I think they would not accept it on twos because it's too many drawings. It would be a very expensive cut. Imagine that all of these drawings have to be processed a lot of times. You have to pay someone to do the second key or the first cleanup, which could be yourself or someone else. But then you have to pay the people who are going to in between them and paint it. You have to pay them by drawing. So if you animate on twos, it's actually a very expensive cut. That's what generally this would probably be animated on three and fours if it was just like something normal, just to make it less expensive. But as I said, like if you were a very famous acting animator and the director really wanted to work with you, he will let you like do it on twos, probably, and they would pay you very well for it. Let me see the blink. So B1. Okay, here's something you have to be very careful. And this is something that other animators warned me when I was beginning to learn Japanese layout. Doing the eyes of the character in another layer on top is generally not advised. Why is that? Because eyes are generally in contact with the hair. You see here? Like right here. And when you have the hair generally has to be on top of the eyes most of the time. So if you have them on a upper layer from the rest of the character, you kind of mess up that layer interaction. So what you generally do is to have everything in the eyes of the character always in the same layer of the head. Uh, so here she stopped moving her body, and then she blinks. You see, she stops moving, and then she blinks. You can make the eyes and the blink in the same layer as the rest of the body. Just you have to use Doga trace to tell them that uh, only the eyes are moving, and the rest of the character only the eyes are moving, and the rest of the character is not. And you do it like this. This is Doga trace. You see here, Doga trace. I take this and I paste it on the part of the character that is not going to move, like here. And I say, basically what we say is only the eyes are moving, and this part of the character is going to be the same as another drawing. And this, in this case, the previous drawing, which is A8. A8. Basically telling them that all of this that's not the eyes is the same as A8. You see? And how you show them that is that you leave the eyes on black, like you color them black, like right now, and the rest of the character you do it in red or another color. I've seen people using like blue, something like that. That just tells them that only the parts in black are the ones that are moving now, and you have to show them that this notation. Okay, B2. Let's see how much that blink lasts, because it looks like a very slow blink. Yeah, it's kind of slow. It has a lot of in betweens, and it lasts for a long time. Look at this. That's a super long blink. We talked about blinks on the previous stream. You can go watch it. I explained you how to do more natural blinks, which are a lot faster. This one looks a bit unnatural. And then the egg is just falling on the pan. Here you have to do something with the layers too, because C, which is the egg, is on top of the body of the character. But here it looks like is under her hand. Do you see that? So what you do there is you do a register. That's how we call it in Western animation. A register, and in Japanese it's called a kumi, which is like this. And that's basically just telling them that even though this part of the layer is on top of the character, you're going to cut it here so that it matches with the layers that are under it. So you would say this is A, Seru, Kumi. Basically telling them that they have to cut this so it matches what's happening on A, which is the body of the character. Same here. Let me erase all of this. When the egg falls, it's supposed to fall inside of the pan. Here it depends on what the pan actually is. If it is a cell or it is a book or something. If it is on top of C, then it's okay. You don't have to do anything. But if it is on another layer, for example, under, you can cut it here and say, I don't know, the other layer and do a kumi here. Just so we keep the illusion that some things are on top of another. You see? Any questions? This might get a bit complicated. I don't want to complicate this too much before we go to the other more complex streams later. Let me read a bit of your comments. I would love to work on the JoJo's Steel Ball Run project. Wow, that's actually one of my dreams too. Steel Ball Run is so good, but I'm pretty sure if you want that, you already know the problem they have. This has been going on. Oh, the rumor has been going on for years, since I was in university, like 10 years ago. We always said like, oh, Silver Run, it would be so good, but it's probably not going to happen anytime soon because of the horses. That's the big problem on Silver Run. They'll either have to do it on all on 3D, and it's going to have to be an amazing 3D that doesn't look horrible, or they're going to have to get some very good uh, animal specialist animators, which is very very hard. I know they did it on uh, uh, Attack on Titan, but not even for that many episodes. Like Steel Ball Run has horses every episode, and animating animals is kind of a big specialty. Like not everyone can do it convincingly. So yeah, that's something they'll probably already thought of a solution. But yeah, I also want to know how it's going to happen, and if they want to invite me to animate on it, that would be very cool too. Okay. Um, what else? This animation looks so clean. Yeah, it looks amazing. Um, so this would be an expensive project. I think you're talking about the cuts, like the cuts we're looking at right now. Uh, yeah, this would be an expensive sequence. So what happens when anime has animation style when the hair lines are merged with the eye lines? You just do everything on the same layer and do a Doga trace. So the people that are painting and cleaning the layers later do not have to try to match the hair to the eyes. Just doing in one layer. And sometimes you have to separate the hair on a different layer on top, but that depends on the character design, because some characters have like transparent hair, like what you can see behind that, and some others don't. It depends on the design. um okay. I often use three drawings per blink. Yeah, me too. Just open, middle, and close. Yeah, the horses problem. Someone's asking if the background environment layer is flat, just one layer, I think the same, or a song layer. I don't know what that is. Uh, then close off drawn elements will intercept with the elements in the VG. I'm not sure if I understand that. If you can reword it a bit, I'll be happy to read it again. I would die happy to animate Jiro versus Ringo. Yeah, me too. Oh, single layer. Well, that's good to know. So it's called Doga. Um, Doga is actually I was actually reading a book about this yesterday, just yesterday. Uh, and this is something people sometimes forget, especially when they are not very fluent at Japanese. Doga actually just means video, uh, but it's kind of weird to explain. Let me explain you. Uh, so we have, let's say, layout. We have Genga, and we have Doga. Layout is what we're looking at now. It is kind of a very detailed blueprint of the cut. Okay. uh it has the timesheet. It's not in between, it's not even cleaned. It's just a blueprint of everything that has to be on the background, on the cut, like the character, all of the layers, the background, and the whole timing and the whole spacing and thing. After that, everyone will correct your stuff. Like the director will correct your cut, the animation director will correct your cut, and they will give you the corrections, and you have to apply them, and that will be Genga. Even though this term is super general, we call it Genga or second key sometimes. Uh, but this is still just the drawings without the in betweens, um, and they are not painted. It's generally when animators on Twitter, like, I don't know, after an episode or something like Jujutsu Kaisen or something like that, and they say like, "This is the cut I animated," and they upload a cut with like uh, that, it's not painted, like it's just the shadows and the highlights and stuff. That's generally second key or Genga, but it's still not in between. Douga in Japanese means something like video. Why is like in betweening and cleaning called video? Because for the Japanese, only when it's in between the character is actually moving. So only then, only here, it becomes a video. Here is just like a blueprint. All of this. Only here, when it's in between and cleaned and painted, it becomes a video for them. That's why they call him Douga. Let's do a tiny drawing of a film thingy. That's why it's called Douga. Like, it wasn't even clear to me until I read it yesterday. Only now it is a video. You see? That's the reason. Yeah, it's moving picture, something like that. That's why the like that Japanese site they use instead of YouTube is called Nico Nico Douga. It's like video stuff. Yeah, it makes sense now, right? Like you hear these terms all the time, but you sometimes you just don't stop to think what they actually mean. Okay, let's look at the next cut. Is this cut too? Yes. So we have one. A is the pan, and B is the egg, if I'm not mistaken. And it's again all animated on twos. I kind of make fun of it, but I think I've told you that my first work on anime, I animated it on twos, and somehow they just didn't correct it, and it looks very very weird. It looks very weird. It was for Black Clover. I don't remember the exact episode, but as I wasn't very experienced on anime, I just animated everything on twos, and it's just a normal sequence, like nothing special. But when you see it on the anime, it looks so smooth that it actually looks weird. They were probably so short of time that they just didn't correct my timesheet. But yeah, the consequences is that it looks very weird. But yeah, generally when you send something on twos and it's not necessary, they will correct it and just diminish the amount of drawings. Oh, now I understand. A is the pan and also the hand, which is smart. But when the hand is moving and the pan is not, you have to do a doga trace. The same thing we have been talking on before. You tell them that only the hand is moving at that point, and the rest of the pan they can just copy paste it on every other drawing because it's not moving until it begins moving. Like here, you see? This is actually my favorite part of the cut because it's kind of a subtle acting thing. Uh, you remember when you were like a kid and your mom always told you that when you're using the pans, you have to leave the handle like on top of the kitchen thing, like because if you leave it on this direction, you will just stumble and drop the thing. Like this is actually kind of a subtle acting thingy. I like it. From A3 to A4. Yeah, I think it's enough. Maybe to make it just a bit more subtle. One, two, three, four, five. You could play with the spacing a bit. One, two, three, four, five. Something like this. Maybe. Like you can test it actually. But maybe this will look more natural. But you did something like that here. But your spacing chart is not very clear. Like I can't really see where the middles are. Uh, like is this the middle or is this one? I don't really know. You maybe you just have to be more clear with it. But overall, the animation I think is working, and this one is very good, and it's everything on one layer, which is nice. Did you use any kind of reference for this? It looks very nice. I like the overlapping of her hair. You see that the hair is moving at a different uh like at a different speed than the rest of the body. That's also kind of a subtle thing. It looks very nice. I like it. I don't think I have any issue with this cut. I only wish it had the shadows and highlights. If it had that, you could send it to on a studio and they would be okay with it. Let's look at the timing of the whole thing. If I look at the whole sequence, it looks a bit fast. This is again nitpicking a bit. Uh, but if I see this person like cooking, I would think that they're kind of taking their time a bit. But the whole sequence is a bit too fast. Like this cut is just 1 second or something. 1 second and just a bit. 1 plus 16. The next is 110 and 2. They are very fast cuts. Like this sequence could have been longer, and I think it would have been even more convincing. But again, that's just nitpicking. Like I really like these cuts, and you don't have to be so furious at closing your timesheet. Like uh, if you do this, the producer will laugh at you. Just cut it here, like here, and do this. That's enough. Okay. Genga Doga, you should put your name here, and that's it. No, very good cuts. I like them. Okay, let me read some comments before going to the next one. I don't understand those frame cheats thingies. Yeah, they're a bit hard to understand at the beginning, but I will teach you a bit later. Uh, do you prefer do coloring work on CSP or Paintman? Neither. I use TV Paint, but the Retas thing, like the whole Retas uh, suite of softwares, is already obsolete. You can do everything, all of that on CSP now. So when we work on anime, like on actual anime, at Tonari or something like that, we just do everything on CSP. And I personally do it on TV Paint, just because I like TV Paint. Have you already explained the timesheet on your last stream? I haven't. I mean, I have, but I want to do a special stream just for timesheet. Let me explain you. I think this is a good moment to explain you the next streams. The people from Sakuga Foundry might already know this because this is what I did for them, but this is what I'm going to do for YouTube now. The streams are planning after this are going to be basic drawing for animation. This is the one I want to do the day after tomorrow. I just want to tell you how I approach drawing for animation, how I take care of stuff like energy, and how I do for drawing faster, which is very important. Like if you are going to be animating, you have to draw very, very fast. So I'll tell you how I approach that, how I learn to do that, and the exercises I do. I'm going to try to teach you all of that. Next one I want to do will be basic animation. And this is going to be like really basic animation, because if we're going to get into Japanese animation, you have to know all of the basics. So here we're going to talk about stuff like timing and spacing. Uh, we're going to talk about a bit about the timesheet then, uh, and basically just very basic stuff, very basic exercises. How do you plan your cuts? About keyframes and extremes and in betweens and spacing charts. But the most basic stuff, basically the stuff you can learn on the animation survival kit from Richard Williams, that's going to be this stream. And after these two streams, I'm going to do a layout stream. And this one is going to be probably the one that you guys are waiting, like everyone is waiting for this one, because this one is going to be like focused on Japanese layout, like the things that they actually ask you to do when you're working for them. But without this, you cannot really, you will not understand most of this, or you will understand, but you will not be able to execute it. Okay, because these are the bases, and then we can go and get into the specifics of layout and how do you layer your cuts, and how do you do the timesheets like for specific Japanese format, and how do you export that, and all of those stuff. Okay. After that, we might do some for Genga second key. Genga slash second key, which is also very important. It's actually one of the first things they will ask you to do, even before layout. They might ask you to do Genga, which is basically like a tie down that we call on Western animation, or a basic cleanup of your drawing. But it's a whole different process that you have to learn. So I'll try to teach you that. And after that, I might do some special streams about timesheet, for example. Like just 2 or 3 hours of just doing timesheets. I'm going one after another, like with different cases and showing you different notations and stuff. Like we might need some of this, and after that, it could be anything really. There's always something to talk about. We could talk about software. We could talk about tools. We could talk about the industry. How to deal with the people from the studios. We could talk about anime versus Western animation. Basically, anything you guys are interested to. You can also tell me what you would like to hear. But this is my basic, very basic plan for the next few weeks. So this one, hopefully on Saturday, the day after tomorrow, and every week one of these. If everything goes okay, and I'm not dying like on uh, deadlines and stuff. Okay, what do you think? Let me read your comments. Timesheets looks so natural and beautiful. Yep, it was a very good cut. What kind of files do you send to finish the cut? Oh, you send a ton of files, not just one. I'll explain you that on the layout stream, but you have to send them a ton of stuff. I missed the Biz stream. No, you can watch it again. are we are we already on 2 hours? Almost. Bouncing ball exercises, yeah, all of those stuff. We can talk about that. I don't think we will do each one of those on that stream, but we will talk about like walks, uh, and in between guides, and I'll explain you which like each one of the types of drawings, which is also very important, like extremes and um, how do you call this on Western animation? Breakdowns and stuff like that. That's also super important to know. Oh, yeah, that's the basic plan. Man, it's been almost 2 hours, and I've gone through two or three of these, and I had eight. You see, it was impossible. Okay, let me see if we can do just one more. before before it's too late. Okay, this one. Oh, is this from the same person as before? Maybe. Let's see. But yeah, hopefully you can watch all of the all of the streams I'm going to do eventually, in order, like the drawing and the basic animation, because that's actually the order you should study them. Because you will have a very hard time doing animation if you don't know how to draw for animation. This is actually a bit different. Like maybe some of you guys have experience in um, illustration or just other kinds of drawing, but drawing for animation uh, is just a bit different. You have to take care of some stuff, of some special stuff. What else? Timesheets. And yeah, don't worry about the timesheet yet. Uh, I'll do my best to teach you how to do it. Uh, there's just one thing. Maybe this is uh this is just a recommendation. Um, you can take it or not, but I've been thinking about this for a while. Before you, or no, if you want to learn to do Japanese animation and focus on like Japanese animation, try to look for ways to do the Japanese timesheet, because there's also other videos on YouTube about Western timesheets. which are a bit different, and that can be very confusing if you don't have a lot of experience doing Western timesheets, and you get like uh, information from both. Like you watch a video about Western timesheet and then you watch a video about anime timesheet. You can get very very confused. So try to figure out what you're watching at some point. Okay, I'm not saying at all that Western timesheets are bad, but they are different from anime timesheets. So so you don't get confused, try to focus on anime timesheets for the moment. Eventually, you will understand both, and you will be able to read both, and you will know the differences, and you will not get confused. But if you're just beginning, uh, just be careful with that. Okay. Someone saying, with your teaching, one can get high for sure. I mean, it has to do with one skill too, but I see you cover the professional area very good. I mean, that's what I'm trying. You still have to practice a lot. You have to practice your drawing and do a lot of animation exercises on your own. But I'm trying to teach you everything that can be taught on video, at least. Like if I can teach you all of those uh, bothersome stuff about like format and give you some recommendations, I will try. But yeah, you still have to do a lot of work on your own to get good enough to get hired. So I was saying mostly because Japanese timesheets require some standards, so a lot of Japanese studios can read perfectly. Yeah, that's one of the reasons, but also it's just a format thing. Uh, like Western timesheets just evolved a bit different. They all come from the same place, but uh, they just work a bit different. And I will explain you that eventually. I think I did on the first stream. I talk a bit about timesheets, maybe, uh, or was it one of the Animaitsugi streams, like one of the private streams? But don't worry, I'll eventually explain all of that again. So don't worry. Okay, let's look at the cut before it gets too late. It's already late at night for me. Okay. So the character is walking, but he's actually sliding. Like this, the cell is sliding. And then we have this character. Wow, is she that small in the actual anime? I haven't watched it, but she looks like a she looks weirdly way smaller than the other character. I don't know if that's the correct size. Maybe it is. I don't know. Let's talk about the walk first. Uh, there's several ways to do walks. If you want to do it like convincingly, like convincing, want to do a convincing walk, and you have the time and the resources to do it, you generally do uh, several drawings. Like for example, you do. Let me do an extra layer. You do this drawing. And then the next drawing is going to be here, for example. A bit, a bit, like a bit taller because he's doing a passing position, which is something I'm going to explain you very well at the basic animation stream. which basically when you're doing a walk, you have different positions for the character. Something like that. It's actually like this. And then the next one is the passing position, which is a bit uh, of a taller position because your legs are on a different position. You see, there's an up and down. That's kind of the big secret to make convincing walks. People generally forget the up and down. So the next drawing would be down again here, something like that. It's just a example, of course, but that's kind of a basic walk when you have the time to do it. Okay, something like that. And in the middle, you do in betweens, like I don't know, thirds or something like that. Or I generally do two in betweens, but I do it with a bit of spacing, like a middle and the middle of a middle. And the next one is like this. As I said, like I will explain you this in detail later, but this is kind of a basic walk, and then up again, and whatever happens. Generally, when you see a character sliding like this, is generally because the production ran out of money or time to do it. So they said like, we don't have time or money to in between all of this. We will make the character slide. And generally, it's not just a slide. There's another notation that's called rolling. Uh, rolling. Have you guys heard of that? That's a notation that every animator I know hates because it is a pain to notate. Like you have to do a lot of stuff on the timesheet to do it, but it's basically uh, rolling lets you do like a cycle of movement. Like you can do movements that move circularly, like you see like this go up, this goes down and up again, then down and up again, and stuff like that. And for that you have to define certain poses, like pose one, two, or one, two, three, and then you have to do a ton of stuff in the timesheet. It's a pain, but this is what's generally used for walks when the studio doesn't have time. I remember for the last episode of Wonder Egg, they asked us to do all the walks using rolling, and everyone hated it because one, as I said, it is a pain to do, and second, it never looks okay on the screen. Like it's a last, um, it's like a last resource. Like it will look like the character is moving, but it will look very weird. And that's what happened in the last episode of Wonder Egg. Like all of the walks look very weird. But we had no choice. Like we finished that episode a day before it it aired. So yeah, I totally understand what they wanted to just use notations to make the character walk. Yeah, I worked on the last episode. It was kind of a crazy story. So what happened was I was actually watching Wonder Egg uh like every day, and because I really like the anime. So I was watching the anime like every episode, and I was like, "Oh my god, like I wish I could have worked on this anime because it looks so cool." Like I ended the anime. I think it had like 11, like 10 episodes, and it just ended. And I was like, man, I noticed too late about this anime. I could have asked like Cloverworks to let me work on it. And that same day, like after I watched the last episode, um, I was talking to one of my students, and he was saying like, "Oh man, I'm so tired. Like Wonder Egg is killing me." And I was like, "What?" like wonder if is it still going? And he was like, yeah, like there's one special episode that's going to be after the 10. I was like, when does it air? Like it airs in like 2 weeks or something like that. I don't remember. I was like, can you let me in? And he was like, okay, like, and I got in the episode. But it was just incredible that I had the luck of just getting into that conversation. If not, it wouldn't have been possible. Now, it wasn't the best episode at all, but at least it was better than not being there, I guess. And it was actually like a fun experience, even though we've, as I said, the we finished the thing the day before. It was actually kind of fun because it was me and like 20 other animators on Discord just trying to save the last episode of Wonder Egg. Like, and we were like 24 hours, like just waiting for the corrections to arrive from Japan and doing our stuff and just talking and suffering. So yeah, it was kind of fun. I'm not gonna lie. It was 13 episodes. Yeah, something like that. I didn't remember specifically, but yeah, I worked on the last one. So yeah, like the animation ended up being not that beautiful and the episode wasn't that good, but I managed to work on it, so something good came out of it. Okay, let me read some of your stuff, and I'll finish this cut. I promise. Uh, I'm checking it right now. Yeah, it's on YouTube, I guess. Yeah, basically the Hanna Barbera walk. Yeah, pretty much. A lot of people worked on Wonder Egg. Yeah, uh, people were told to trace the city. I don't doubt it. One good thing about Wonder Egg though, Wonder Egg had a ton of sete, like a ton of sete. Uh, I still have the whole folders on my computer, and I watch it from time to time because they're just the pre-production was amazing. There was a lot of information for people drawing, and also they sent me like more than 1,000 drawings from the previous episodes, like just second drawings, like from the animation directors and stuff, just for reference. Like I don't know, like 1,000 drawings for the protagonist and another 1,000 drawings for the other characters. Like I have a ton of those, and that's very cool. Sete is model cheats. Is the instructions to draw the character basically. And Wonder Egg had a ton of them. Thank you for having the patience to explain. It's nice to hear some anecdotes for while you were working on something. Yeah, I've had some fun experience and some other not so fun experiences, but uh, I hope they're useful to you. Someone's asking, can you notate rolling on the timesheet? Yeah, it has to go on the timesheet, and it's a pain to do. But I'll teach you how to do it later. So you got a lot of coffee that day. Yeah, it was like a week or something like that that we ended up almost no sleeping at all. Like we would go to sleep a few hours, like I don't know, 4 hours, and then we would wake up and ask like, "Are the corrections up?" And they would say, "No, they're not up." Oh, we can sleep 2 hours more because we knew that the episode was airing in like 2 days, and we were doing like just layout, so we knew that they would have to then we would have to do them on the least amount of time possible, like I don't know, 2 hours or something like that, then send them, and they will have to then in between it clean it, paint it, and do the compositing. Like I'm not sure how they did it, honestly. It was crazy. Like I thought they were going to have to delay the episode, but they somehow managed to do it. I'm not saying it is good. Like the the schedule had to be kind of a mess. But yeah, production bad, calling the web animators basically. Yeah. Even though like so, people say production bad, and people assume that someone has like to be blamed for it, but even when I work on productions that are on fire, I always see like people working very hard, like all the producers and the people at the studio, they are all working very hard. So uh sometimes it's hard to point your finger at someone and say like this is your fault, the like we're on trouble. I'm sure it is someone's fault or everyone's fault, but just so you know that when you hear that an episode or something was kind of a hell to work on, like everyone still did their best. So that's important. I'm taking a someone's saying I'm taking a look at the minute 4, I think, right now, and the main character is doing like a jump walking. Yeah, that's basically what happened. Uh, if it was um my decision, I would have made just a normal walk, but I understand that they needed to do all of those notations. Like there was no other choice. Productions committee's fault? Yeah, I guess. You know, one of the big reasons why uh, productions get in trouble, uh, or they cannot like sometimes fix the schedule, is because studios buy the time to uh, air the anime on Japanese TV. That's one of the big problems. Like a studio, if a studio wants to air whatever anime on Japanese TV, they have to buy that space for like at the station, and if they don't have the episode, then they lose all that money, and there's probably other uh, there's probably other consequences for missing that, but that's basically one of the big problems. Like, and this is because I've talked to producers, and they when they are like in a hurry, they generally say like, we cannot wait because the TV station is waiting for the episode or something like that. Yeah, that's one of the big problems. Okay, back to the cut. I promise this time I won't get distracted. We still at 2 hours now. Like we can go 2 hours and a half, I guess. If you guys are not bored. Oh, did I close it? Oh come on. Oh no, it's here. I have too many stuff open. Here's this one. And these are my annotations that I'm going to close. Oh, this one I have to close. But yeah, for example, you hear a lot of times, like especially lately, you hear about like Jujutsu Kaisen, like all the mess that happened, and you hear about that because it is a popular anime that everyone wants to watch. But that thing of the episode being finished the day after, or even the same day, like just a few hours before airing, is extremely common. Like it happens all the time, and it happens even in the best studios. So I'm not saying it's good or acceptable. I'm just saying it is super common. Sadly. Close this one. And timesheets. I closed the timesheets, or I never opened it. Maybe. too much stuff opened. Timesheet. And this is again an electronic timesheet or a digital timesheet uh, generated by that software from Toei. Oh, it has some handwritten stuff. Interesting. Okay, layer B should be moving, and there's a, I don't know if you noticed, but here in the memo thing, there's some text. Layer B should be moving via object transform. Only the hair is drawn. Layer B, what's layer B? So A, cheese B, layer transform. Are we talking about when she's like on the air? I guess. Yeah, okay. We will see. We'll look at that character later. So we're seeing this walk, and there's some in betweens here for his arm movement, I guess. Oh no. Okay, I understand what's happening. This is uh, a chart that has the keyframe on it, which is not normal format. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, there's A1, A2 is inside the chart, and A3. This is not normal. Like generally, you do not do a spacing chart with one keyframe in the inside of it. You can sometimes, but it's not normal. You generally just do it in between uh, keyframes. Okay, but I understand what's happening. And this is animated on threes. At least it's animated on threes, which makes sense. And you have basically a loop here, because the character is moving their arms like back and forward. You can do this loop with a notation. You don't have to repeat all of the drawings. You can do it, but you can also do it with a notation, like just put repeat or something like that, and then just do a line. Maybe I can teach you. Let's say this is just an example. You want to repeat 1, 2, 3. You want this to just repeat all the time. You take this notation, repeat, and you put it there. Oh, I think someone told me this one was wrong. 1, 2, 3. I will just write it. Basically, repeat in Japanese like ripito, and then you extend the line for as long as you want it to loop. There's other more complex ways to do this when you just want part of the thing to repeat. But if I explain you that now, it's going to just be confusing. So I'll explain you when we do the timesheet specific stream. That was my point. Like you can use annotation to loop stuff. Close this. Okay, characters walking, and then something should happen. Okay, I see, for example, his change of expression. He's looking like to the front. He's actually looking just pay. He's actually looking kind of up, which is he should be looking to the front. But then he noticed the other character, I guess, there, and he changes his expression. But this should be a keyframe, not an in-between guide, like a circle instead of a triangle. And this one too, A5 is a keyframe. If you do not understand what I'm talking about when I say keyframe and in-between guide and all of that, do not worry. When we come to the basic animation stream, I'll explain you what each of those mean. But I just can't avoid to talk about them because they're everywhere. So this character gets in. Remember in, the notation for when something enters the screen. You just have to put it on the first frame they appear. Then we have a anticipation, which is very good. And then she jumps. We have a problem with perspective and volume. Like, I feel that the volume of her is not very consistent. Look at her head here, and here it looks way bigger. And then she jumps, and it looks normal again. But then look at her at the size of her arm. It looks like a very forced perspective here. This kind of perspective uh, generally happens when the subject is very close to the lens of the camera, which is this is not really the case. Like, this should be a bit more normal, like around here. You see, it looks way more balanced. Maybe that's one of the problems that I found when she looked so small. Maybe it was just that arm. Let me erase that. And she's still kind of tiny, but maybe that's just the actual size of them. Mm, we also have some perspective issues in the background. Yeah, it's kind of a. It looks kind of a. How do you call this perspective? Isometric. It looks like a bit isometric. I'll have to think a bit how to fix that. Honestly. Yeah, I would do this just a bit taller. I don't know. I'm not gonna waste too much time doing that yet. But the perspective looks a bit off. So anticipation. Again, this person probably already understood the thing about in between guides and keyframes when we talk, because we watched one of his cut last time, like 2 weeks ago. uh I already explained that, so it's probably not worth like going through it again. It's just that this cut was made at the same time. And the timesheet, oh, this is a long timesheet. Look, it's like a Western timesheet. Western timesheets used to be long. I don't know why they just didn't make like several pages. They just make long papers. It was kind of ridiculous. Like sometimes they were meters long. They actually measured them by uh no, that's not actually accurate, by feet, but that was actually like tape, like film feet. But that's a measurement that's no longer used. Like before, if you watch documentaries from old animators, they will always talk about feet, like how many feet uh does the cut, uh like they would talk about the duration of the cut in feet, and that's basically feet of film, because they were working on actual physical film. But thanks God we no longer use that. Like it's one of the things I'm happy it's lost. Okay, let me look at your comments for a bit. Someone's asking, is Clip Studio Paint the most common software in Japanese animation studios? Yes. And next one is TV Paint. You can basically use any software if you are freelancer, and if you can export it as they ask you to do it. If you can export the PNGs or the JPEGs and stuff they're asking you, you can basically use any software. You can use like Flash and stuff. There's still people that use Flash, or maybe Toon Boom. Uh, but there are some softwares that are more optimized to work on like traditional. This is still considered like traditional animation, traditional 2D animation, because even though it's done on the computer, you still have to draw everything yourself. um Someone's saying, bro's taking the time to check each frame on the timesheet. Director would just throw it away and redo it. Yeah, they will do that. I sometimes do it too, but I'm doing it because I am explaining to you. Like if when I'm directing, sometimes I just have to throw away the timesheet and do it, and sometimes I try to save it, but uh, working on fixing timesheets is very difficult. Like it takes a lot of time, so sometimes it is just easier to throw it away. As sad as it sounds. Someone's saying, I love working with Clip Studio. It has a lot of add-ons that say something like uh, to animation exposure cheats. Yeah, it works very good. Yeah, just be careful. I think I talked about this before. Uh, this, for example, is a timesheet generated by the toy animation uh, plugin for Clip Studio. And I talked last time that almost no studio likes this software. Like we already from Tonari, we tried to send this same stuff, like the same type of timesheet to Toy, like using their own software, and they didn't like it. They asked us to do our own timesheet like by hand. So yeah, you can use this for your own projects, but when you're doing anime, they will probably not like it if you use it. Just a silly conflict they have over there. Okay, last round of looking at the thing. Yeah, I think that that might be one of the big issues, like just volume and general drawing. The character has some. I think his neck is a bit too long, maybe. But if we begin talking about like every drawing, we might not finish ever. Yeah, maybe his shoulders are just a bit too low. Maybe they're too broad too, or his head is different. I don't know. I'll have to look at the setting. I don't think we have time. Yeah, he has kind of a super broad shoulders. That's okay for like super masculine characters, but this one looks kind of normal. Yeah, something like that looks more natural. You see, it looks more relaxed, and it was just like just adjusting a bit of the proportions. Yeah, because here, for example, his shoulders do not look as broad. It changes. It's not very consistent. But that's something you will pick up eventually when you practice drawing a lot. So don't worry. Same with perspective. I will make sure to talk about perspective in the basic drawing stream the day after tomorrow. I'll gather some of the materials I used to teach, so I can teach you about that, because we talk about perspective all the time, and I will say like I'll teach you about perspective later. But the basic drawing one is the time to talk about perspective. So I'll make sure to do that. Okay, we're nearing 2 hours and a half. I guess that's kind of my limit. Um, I failed at looking at all the cuts. Sorry, I had way more than I expected, and I don't think I'll be able to finish them, because I really have to begin doing the other streams. But uh, but in the next streams, I should be able to announce the new challenge for the community, for the Animatsuki, for the Sakuga Foundry community. So you guys can participate on that one, and we can take a look at your cuts. Yeah, because we have taken a bit too long to do that. So I'll talk to the Sakura Foundry people, and we will see if we can announce it in the next stream. Do you guys have any other questions before I go eat something? I'll just give you a couple of minutes to think while I close all of this. Let me take a look at your comments for a bit. What program is this? TV Paint 11. Yes. Toon Boom hearts my wallet. I don't know how much Toon Boom costs right now. Uh, Let me take a look. Toon Boom. Just to look. Oh, it's now called Harmony. I I don't remember when it changed name. Just tell me how much it cost. Yeah, but I've worked with Toon Boom Uh, and even though I think it's a good software, I don't think it's the best software to work on anime. Toon Boom is very strong for other stuff, for other types of animation. Toon Boom is monthly stuff. Oh, I see. Just like the Adobe stuff. I hate paying Adobe monthly. I would just buy the thing. Someone's asking, do you think character volume is a common mistake? I think it's a lot. Yeah, it's a very, very common mistake. It happens to everyone, actually. Uh, Even experienced people sometimes have volume problems. It's just not that noticeable. How to fix it? You will begin to notice volume mistakes on your own animations once you do a lot of animation. Your eye will just get better, and you will be able to fix your own mistakes before sending them. The other thing you can do is use. A lot of people commit like volume mistakes because they try to do the final drawing like uh, from the beginning. If you use something like a skeleton or basic shapes at the beginning, it is way easier to preserve volume during the whole cut. If you try to do the whole character like with hair and ears and the face and all that all at the same time, it's very likely you will mess up the volume because your attention is all over the place. But if you're if your head is just a circle at the beginning, then maintaining the volume of the circle is way easier. Yeah, that's my recommendation with volume. Okay, I think we're ready to go. Thank you guys for coming. It was it was very fun. Sorry I kept you waiting, but I'll try to be more consistent. Uh, I'll try to not get all my deadlines at the same time again, which sadly happened. But yeah, they shouldn't be a problem from now on. I'll try to be more consistent. And next stream is the day after tomorrow. I think it will be at the same time. Like for me, it's like uh, on the evening. It should be at the same time as this. If not, uh, YouTube will let you know. Okay, and don't miss the next stream because basic drawing is very very important. So don't miss it. And if you miss it, you can watch it later. Okay. Okay. Thank you guys. I'll leave you this time, and we'll talk later. Bye bye. Have a nice day.